Just it's funny because they have the cameras that go on the bottom too,
Yeah.
so they have all these neat angles.
Oh, so Linda's in?
Doesn't matter, we have enough.
Okay, all right.
She's down the end of the hall.
All right, then I call this meeting to order at 10 o'clock. Justin, can you put the land acknowledgement on? Ray will read the land acknowledgement.
I think that's big enough. I could take my glasses off. Okay. The city of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Paraongrak and the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The city of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live.
Thank you, Ray. Are there any declarations of interest? I have one, even though we probably won't be speaking about the Monroe House today. Councillor O'Hare also has a declaration of interest for that same item. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda, can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda, please? Tom has moved. Councillor O'Hare has seconded. I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Yes.
Okay, anyone opposed? No, then that is carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of the last meeting, please? Jonathan has moved, Councillor O'Hare has seconded. I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? No, then that is carried as well. Correspondence. Justin, do you have anything in terms of correspondence?
I do not have any correspondence.
I've been corresponding a lot. I'll bring that up when we get to the turning of the sod item further down the line. Financial invoices for payment. I haven't submitted anything since the last meeting as far as I remember, but I will submit an invoice for Sarah's newest heritage research report later today. I assume I send that directly to you, Mark?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning.
Hi.
Sorry. I remembered when I was on the way home from the pool that I maybe should have hurried a little more.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just wanted to quickly tell Mary and Dave, we do have quorum without you now. If you want to bow out at this moment, you can, but you're also very welcome to stay.
What?
Yeah, we'll stay, sure.
Okay, all right, thank you. The focus of this meeting will be on our 2 designation projects and on the turning of the sod event later in the fall.
November.
Everything else I will be zipping through very quickly. If anyone wants to make a comment, please do. Ongoing business, the Stone Store, I don't have anything new to report, and neither with regards to the Flannery House, especially since Wynne is not here today and can't report whether she has seen anything. Installation of history plaques, nothing new to report at this point either. We'll defer that to the next meeting as well. Heritage permit status update, just a very quick question to Mark, whether there's any movement on that.
Through Madam Chair, there is no movement at this time.
Okay, thank you. Now we're getting to new business. And these are our two designation projects that we have going at this time. First, the William Dayball House at 82 Welland Street North. The notice of intent has now been posted for a couple of weeks. And by the time the next council meeting takes place on August 13th, it will have been posted for 30 days. We would like to ask council to pass the designation bylaw at that meeting, which means the bylaw needs to be drafted. If you need anything from me, Mark, to help out with that, please let me know. The owners are very keen to have the designation ceremony in the middle of September. The date will still be chosen. And of course, after the bylaw is passed, we need to wait another 30 days before we can actually formally designate. So August 13th, if it gets passed, then we can designate by August 12th or something like that.
September 12th, you mean? If it's passed by the 13th of August, wouldn't it be September 12th, not August 12th?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Yeah. Yes, Councillor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Mark, should we also notify our new city clerk, Nicholas, that we hope to bring this bylaw to council on the 13th so that he knows that it's coming?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. He's fully aware. He was involved with the notice of intent that went out, so Nicholas is very aware of how we're going.
Super, thanks.
And I will be CCing Nicholas on any correspondence I'll have with Justin or Mark anyway. Okay, any comments from any of you regarding the William Dayball House at this point? No? Then that is our next step, and from there on, basically, it's organizing the designation ceremony, which will happen before our next meeting at the end of September. So I will make sure to be in touch with the city to invite the appropriate people to be present at that particular occasion, and I will also make sure we have a digital plaque to put on one of our stands to have that installed before. Anything else I'm forgetting that needs to be done for a designation ceremony? Oh, and if any of you want to help out with that, you're very welcome to get in touch with me and offer your services. Thank you. All right, so if there's no further comments to 82 Welland Street North, then we move on to 18 River Street in Port Robinson. The Cultural Heritage Research Report is finished, and the house, I'll give a very short report of what's in it, so that we can then have a motion to go on with the process of designation. Morning, Ricardo. As usual, Sarah gives a lot of insight, not just into the house itself, but also into the physiography, archaeological potential, historical context, and natural heritage connected with this particular property. But with regard to the house itself, she also basically does our job for us, evaluating its cultural heritage aspects to the requirements of the Ontario Heritage Act at the end of the report. In her opinion, it fulfills 7 or 8 of the 9 requirements that the Ontario Heritage Act puts on properties to be potentially designated. In order to qualify for designation, a property needs to fulfill 2. The house is an exceptionally well-preserved example of an Italian villa-style house with elements of an earlier Gothic revival aesthetic, and represents the evolution of brick house design in the small canal community of Port Robinson. It displays a high degree of craftsmanship, retains many original features inside and out, and also that is those are its heritage value according to architectural value. Historically, the house is connected to several prominent Port Robinson and indeed Niagara families. It was built by a member of the McFarland family of United Empire Loyalist fame. The man who built it was Duncan McFarland, son of John McFarland, who built the McFarland House in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is a small museum along the parkway.
Yeah.
Duncan McFarland is also generally considered to be the founder of Port Robinson. He built this house on a site where there was an earlier structure which burned down probably in the late 1850s. He built this house probably around 1860. There is no documentation about the exact time frame of when the earlier structure was destroyed and when this one was built, but the census of 1861 confirms Duncan McFarland and his family to be living in a 2-story brick house at that address, which is that house. The description of the house in the census documents confirms that. The house is further associated with another prominent, two other prominent families in Port Robinson. One, the Elliott family, to whom the McFarlands were related by marriage. Duncan McFarland's wife was an Elliott. And with the Coulter family, who bought the house in 1887 and owned it for over 9 decades. The last Coulter, Eva Goldspink, sold the house, or her family sold the house in 1992 to the present owners. In terms of contextual significance, it helps to retain the integrity of the 19th century Port Robinson heritage, which is already very largely maintained by several occurrences which isolated Port Robinson East from other parts, first of all from its western counterpart across the canal, and also from the nowadays more mainstream communities along the Welland Canal. First of all, when the canal was moved, Port Robinson lost its prominence along the canal, and then, of course, when the lift bridge in Port Robinson was destroyed in 1974, it further isolated the community. What that led to was an exceptional maintenance of its heritage aspect, and this house is very much part of that. It is in close proximity to numerous other designated and non-designated heritage structures. And it also is an excellent example of wait, I lost my train of thought. It also represents the mindset of 19th century entrepreneurs in small Niagara communities to, first of all, have their residence in the center of town, but at the same time to isolate themselves somewhat from the hustle and bustle around them. This house is located in the middle of the business section, but sits in the center of its lot, which provides privacy from the surrounding structures. There's a lot more in this report. Please read it. It is incredibly interesting and very exciting to read. And this house really should have been on our radar long before now. Therefore, I propose that we have a motion right now to ask Council to consider passing a notice of intent to designate 18 River Street in Port Robinson, City of Thorold, under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act 1990 as amended, for its architectural, historical, and associative significance. Can I have a mover for this motion? Tom has moved and Jonathan has seconded. I call the question. All those in favor?
Yes.
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 Thank you. Anyone opposed? No? Then that is carried. So, Councillor, I know you have already given notice not notice of intent, notice of motion to Council that this is coming. So we would like that to be passed on August 13th. We would like the bylaw to pass on October 1st. The September Council meeting is going to be too early for a 30-day publication of notice of intent. This means that notice of intent has to be publicized by September 1st. Okay. And again, please tell me if there's anything I can do to make that, more easy on you. All right. Any comments from anyone regarding, yes, Mark?
Sorry, just for information purposes, there is a report going forward or a bylaw going forward with an associated report on the August council meeting regarding notice of intent. Under the Heritage Act, it has to be published in a newspaper. And the intent is if we pass a bylaw, there are other alternatives that we can do other than publishing in a local newspaper. So it would be publication on our website. So our intent is to kind of streamline that process, make it a little simpler, make it a little cheaper. So hopefully when we do the notice of intent for 18 River, it will just simply be through the website rather than in the St. Catherine Standard.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we had talked about that for a long time. I just don't know whether there's provincial requirements that say it has to be published in a newspaper. So as long as everything is the way it should be and it really can be, the bylaw can be passed, then on the website is perfectly fine with us.
Yeah, and through you, Madam Chair, we did a lot of research on this, and we've borrowed other municipalities' bylaws that have enabled us to do that. So we've hopefully made it a simpler process for everybody.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Any one who would like to comment on 18 River Street? No? Okay, then let's move on to the next item. Our work plan, designation priorities, single properties and districts will get deferred to our next meeting. Our priority today are the events that we're planning over the next little while, especially the Turning of the Sod event in November. Weekly market events. I will be at the market if we are not rained out tomorrow. I might leave a little early because there is also another event that the council is involved in that I'd like to be present at. But I will be at the market tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and by the time 7 o'clock comes around, probably not too many people are stopping at the Heritage Table anyways. Any body who is interested in the market event or any of our later, we will be again at the weekly market at the last one in September, which will be a Saturday event. Okay, then let's move on to our most important item on this agenda, the November 30th, 2024 turning of the sod commemoration. Tom, would you like to give us an update about some of the things that have happened?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, this is going to be a very interesting event, and people are showing wonderful enthusiasm for this event. What we are doing at the present time, there's a company that publishes the Canadian Vintage. It's a magazine that goes across Canada. Herb and Sophie Bond are the owners and the publishers. They have agreed to publish an article for us at no cost, which is wonderful. So we're working on that article. David Sharon from Brock University has agreed to supply any and all information that we need that they have on hand relating to the Erie Canal construction and the Erie history and letters. I've had a chance to look at some of the things. There is a wonderful letter written in 1824 prior to the sod turning by William Hamilton Merritt to the Canal Company executives. We have access to that and other things. I'm visiting tomorrow at the special collections at Brock, and we're going to move ahead and look at some of the items. In addition to that, Alicia Floyd, who also is employed at Brock University, she is a professional writer, a published author. She has agreed to write the article for us at no cost. So we're moving along in that direction. I'm doing additional research, and we're hoping to meet with Alicia in a couple weeks and put a plan together. I've asked the folks here, and I'll ask all of you, if you have any ideas in terms of an appropriate title for this article. I would be most interested in hearing your comments. And at that point, in addition to the article, the other things that we've talked about, and I've spoken to some other folks, and I want to now direct this to comment to the city, had a suggestion, and I want to see how the city feels about this, about having an appropriate gift to give to the invited attendees on November 30th. And we're thinking of possibly having wine bottled with a special label produced to indicate, you know, the time frame, the 200-year anniversary and that type of thing. And from the city's point of view, can we do this? Is this an issue if we are able to have a winery that would maybe like to sponsor us partially with this and provide wine to us, either free of charge or at a nominal cost? Can we do this? Can we approach them and ask if they would like to participate? And my impression is, so far in talking to a couple people, their wineries would jump on this and love to be involved because it's promotion for the Niagara Peninsula.
Through you, Madam Chair, I'd have to speak with others about that, whether it's you know, a conflict of interest or anything of that nature, but we could probably get that answer for you relatively quickly.
Okay, I would appreciate that very much. Okay. The other thing we're thinking about, and it's something, because the Seaway is involved in what they're doing is really wonderful. Now, they've expanded the plaque, and it's going to be, of course, bilingual. And we're thinking about it, and should we have a speaker representing the city or LACAT that is fluent in French, and be appropriate to have someone speak part of the program in French? That's a question that we need to address also.
Okay.
Any questions from my comments, folks? Any questions or comments?
Tom, right here. If you need anyone to help you with Brock, especially the archives, I know them quite well, and I would be happy to go along with you.
Thank you
even
very
tomorrow.
much. Appreciate that. That's very good to hear.
What time tomorrow then?
I'm going tomorrow at probably 9:30.
Well, okay. Well, I'll be there. I'll be waiting outside.
No, you won't be. We have appointments.
I've been
at
overruled.
We have appointments at Niagara College at 10:15.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Sorry, Tom. Next time,
That's
yes.
fine. I'll keep you informed, Ray, of what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything you need to pick up too, you know.
I suspect I'll be
Do you?
going
I
back
can
3 or
do
4
that.
times, actually.
I just also wanted to quickly mention, with regard to the article that you mentioned that's going to be published in the Canadian Antiques and Vintage magazine, that would be appearing before the event, which means it would be advertising the event to interested people.
I've talked to that with the owners, and the magazine comes out in November. The November-December issue comes out in early November.
Yeah.
So the main article will be there, but they've also suggested, if we'd like, and come up with some type of advertising, that they'll publish a smaller advertisement for us in September.
Oh, great. You mean sort of like a little just event advertisement?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, oh, that's wonderful.
yes.
Great.
They're really nice people.
Yeah. Oh, I've met them at
Oh, yes,
auctions,
you
I
have.
think. Yeah. I don't know them, but they seem like really nice people. Okay. Yes.
Just through you, Madam Chair, just one quick question, just going back to the wine question. Do you know roughly how many bottles of wine we would be discussing?
I've thought about that. That's a very good question. I think it's really going to be dependent on how many invited guests we have. I would think at least 2 cases, but to be safe, let's say 3.
Yeah, and fair enough, just a ballpark.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that-
I would
that
say
is- If I
3.
say somewhere between 2 to 3 cases.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I don't think we're talking a bottle for everybody who's going to show. We're talking, for the dignitaries and important people.
Yes, no, I appreciate that. Thank you, Madam Chair. And like I say, it's just so I can get a fulsome answer on the question that was asked, so I appreciate that.
Now,
Thank you.
an interesting question to follow that up. Should we look at both white and red?
I don't think that's necessary. I mean, it's a gesture more than anything else. I mean, some of them might
You're
not
just
even
kidding,
drink
yeah,
wine. Yeah.
Okay.
As Tom already mentioned, the Seaway is involved. I've been back and forth with both the Seaway and the plaque manufacturer basically all month. It is all sorted out now. The plaque is ordered. The Seaway took our wording of the plaque and amended it slightly and provided a French translation. And also their logo, and then the signage company put the design together. It was approved by the Seaway. Because of the plaque, with the 2 languages becoming much more elaborate and also much bigger, the price came in at substantially more than the first estimate was. I submitted that also to the Seaway with an addendum that the signage company could look into shrinking the size down, but the Seaway has agreed that the plaque should stay at the quoted size, and they will fund the plaque, which is extremely generous, and we're very much appreciative of that. We also very much appreciate the Seaway's offer of support in the planning of this event, including supplying a speaker who represents the Seaway. And obviously, any request by their working group to meet with us and exchange ideas and narrow things down for the day that is appreciated and welcome, and we will make arrangements as we get notice from them. Any comments? No. On that day, later in the day, there will be the Santa Claus parade. So the turning of the sod event will have to take place early in the day, I imagine around 11, with the unveiling of the plaque and the accompanying speeches and a short reception afterwards, if possible, at the Allenberg Community Center. It would be nice if it were sort of a lunch reception with some nibbles. We can organize some, as I've mentioned before, volunteers to supply those. I volunteer myself to supply something, and maybe we can drum up some others who can put some food together for that event. In terms of what is there to drink, we'll have to confirm that with the city, what is allowed. To be able to make a toast on the occasion would be nice, but we'll have to see whether that is something that will be permissible. Sarah Kinghead, who wrote the report on the, who writes all the heritage reports for us, had a great idea with regards to the turning of the sod event. She said there's a lot of museum material stored at the Allenberg Community Center. It would be fantastic if the museum board could organize a pop-up display for the reception to show some of the canal-related artifacts and documents at that particular occasion. I've approached Mal Woodhouse about this, and he seems very enthusiastic, so I'm hoping to get together with him and others from the museum board and discuss that further. But you know, if there could be something at the event that is visually indicative of what we're actually celebrating, that of course would make it so much more special. Any comments? Yes, Councillor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Mark. Mark, as you know, the Allenberg Community Center is undergoing some renovation. Would it be possible to get a timeline from them as well to find out whether or not the location will be available?
Yeah, through Madam Chair, I know that it has been awarded, but we can definitely get an idea of timing as to when the completion. Typically, those run a little bit over, but we can definitely make sure that we obviously have some location that would be reasonable, for sure.
Yeah, maybe it would be possible to just have one section at a state where it wouldn't have to be completely finished.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, absolutely. We can definitely have that discussion about it, for sure.
Great, thank you so much. Any further comments? Yes, Tom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When we're speaking of the event and the speakers that will be attending, I've been able to contact direct descendants of William Hamilton Merritt, and they would like to participate and be at the event. We are also hoping that we'll be able to have representatives of the other family.
Kiefer.
George Kiefer, thank you. Memory's problem. George Kiefer, and hopefully they will be also at the event. So we will have direct descendants from both main participants that were involved with the event 200 years ago.
That's great. And actually, Sarah mentioned to me that she knows a descendant of John Decoux, and she was going to provide his email address to me. And he was the third person in that triumvirate who came up with the idea. George Kiefer and William Hamilton Merritt were the main ones, but I think if we can get a descendant of the Decoux family as well, that would be great.
Something else in my research, and this has been confirmed by one of the Merritt family members, when we are speaking of him, we should speak of him as he wished to be called. He did not like to be called William Hamilton Merritt. He'd like to be called W. Hamilton Merritt. There was a family conflict. There was another individual in the Merritt family who was named William Hamilton Merritt. And during the American Revolution and the War of 1812, there were some issues. So at that point, he determined that he wanted to be called W. Hamilton Merritt. So we may want to do that in the future.
Okay.
Respect.
All right. Any other comments regarding the turning of the sod? We will be heavily planning this event over the next 2 months. We don't have another scheduled heritage meeting until the end of September. But planning will go on during that time. I will keep you informed, Justin, Mark, and also Nicholas, everybody in the city, so that you know what we're doing. Also, anything that comes from the Seaway or any other people who will. And I assume you let me know when we are doing something that we shouldn't.
Just advise, make sure you have Jacob Tedesco involved with
Oh,
everything
absolutely,
as well.
yes. He will obviously be the main partner in our planning efforts. Yeah, sorry, Jacob, in case you're listening, I didn't mean to exclude you. All right, then is there anything else that we need to nail down right now to make sure that we're on track for the next 2 months? I can't think of anything at the moment. Okay. All right, then let's move on. Does anybody have any comments to make on our outstanding items, such as Beaver Dams Church, Trinity United? No, not at this time. Yes, Councillor?
Seeing as we won't be meeting until September, the end of September, just a little reminder that Beaver Dams Church Friends of Beaver Dams Church will be hosting Apple Fest in the fall. So there will be ads for that and promotions for that, but I just thought I'd mention that now. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, just asking another question for my personal notice. And are we intending that we will be meeting on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock
Yes,
for the remainder of the next year?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
All right.
I have my schedule for the next year in front of me, and I can work around so I could be more available than last year.
Okay, that's fantastic news. Thank you. Great. Okay, then let's go around the table if there's no other comments. Jonathan, anything to add?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just that I would be happy to help out both with the turning of the sod and with the designations in September where I can, so please
Great.
for me. And
Thank you very much. Great. Ray?
No, nothing further.
Linda?
No.
Okay. Mary and Dave, are you still there?
Yes, indeed. Nothing further from me. Nothing here. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Ricardo?
Nothing to add at this time, Madam Chair. Thanks.
Okay. Counselor?
Just one little thing. Thank you to Mary and Dave for throwing their support to the committee when they're sick. So thank you, guys. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much,
You,
guys. Yeah. Tom?
Nothing else at this time. Thank you.
All right. Justin?
Nothing to add, Madam Chair.
And Mark?
Just very quickly, because we're on a roll. Most of the things that I had for updates were covered off. The only thing I wanted to note is the Stone Store. We do have a minor variance for parking for that. That's
Yeah.
the 9 units that we had discussed previously. So I just wanted to keep the committee informed that there is a minor variance application that's coming forward. I think it's going to be in August.
Yeah.
So
I've been notified.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So
Okay.
otherwise, that's it for me.
Okay. And there was actually something pertaining to an earlier topic that we talked about that I just wanted to bring up, but it slips my mind now. So I don't have anything to add either at this point. I hope it
Madam
wasn't.
Chair?
Yes?
Ray again. I just remembered, I've got a bunch of folding chairs in my garage that we were using previously for designations.
Yeah.
Do you
Oh,
still
if-
need them?
I don't know whether we will, but I will keep that in mind in case we do.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
I'm just
Right.
afraid that the weather with all the heat and that is gonna start making some of them dangerous to sit in.
Oh, okay. I don't know whether, honestly, whether chairs are necessary at those occasions. I mean, generally, yeah, well, we can think about that. If that's the case, then if your chairs aren't safe anymore, and we need chairs, then we'll organize them from some.
Okay,
All right.
I'll have a podium.
Oh, well, great. Good. Thank you. Then, with myself not being able to remember the point I wanted to make, I guess I'm now going to announce when the next meeting will be, which will be September 24th, which is also a Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning, hybrid format. And there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 10:41. Thank you very much, everybody.